How to prepare for CLAT LLM CLAT PG 2021 in 30 to 40 days. So guys, whenever I used to do a video wherein I used to talk about CLAT, you guys used to say that I should talk about CLAT PG exam, that is CLAT exam for LLM, right? So today in this video, I've analyzed the previous year question paper, specifically 2020 question paper. I have also gone through the guidelines, and I'll also go through the guidelines in this video, and we're going to see that what we need to study. I'm going to give you a step-by-step guide, guys, a step-by-step guide which is going to help you a lot. You're going to get clarity that how you have to prepare, what you have to study, everything I'm going to discuss. And I have a surprise for you. I've done a lot of research for you, and I'm doing a lot of research, and I'm going to share with you that where you can find that research that is going to help you out. Chalo, let's get into this video. Yeah guys, welcome to Giri. I hope you're subscribed to Giri's YouTube channel and hit that bell notification so that you do not miss any of our videos. And I hope you're following us on Instagram. We're there by the name @IamLogiri. We do pretty motivational stuff out there if you want to stay happy, if you want to stay motivated, and if you want to stay connected a little more with Giri, then do follow us on Instagram. Let's quickly see the eligibility criteria. 50% marks in your LLB degree and 45% for SC and ST category students, right? Candidates appearing in the qualifying examination in April-May 2021 are also eligible to apply. If you are about to give your final year examination in April or May 2021, you can apply for LLM, right? For CLAT LLM. There is no upper age limit. So yeah, that's a good news. There is no upper age limit to apply for this exam, right? Anyone can appear and get admission and do their masters. PG question paper format. Please have a look at this. Maximum marks 150 marks. Duration of the exam 2 hours. Multiple choice questions 100 questions of 1 mark each. Subjective questions 50 marks. 2 essay type questions each of 25 marks. 800 words per essay on the topics of law and contemporary issues. So 150 marks, 100 MCQs are going to be there, and you have to write down 2 essays which are of 25 marks each, right? This is what is your pattern of the exam. Very important. Please note down. Syllabus: constitutional law, other areas of law such as jurisprudence, administrative law, law of contract, torts, family law, criminal law, property law, company law, public international law, tax law, environmental law, labor and industrial law. Negative marking 0.25 marks will be deducted for each wrong answer. That is for the MCQ part, right? Let's go through the guidelines quickly. The first section would include 100 objective type questions carrying 1 mark each. There shall be a negative marking of 0.25 marks for every wrong answer, right? The second section would require candidates to write 2 descriptive essays, that is 800 words each, right? Candidates who secure 40% marks in the objective section, 40%, 35 in case of SC, ST and PW marks in the objective sections. Matlab 100 questions may say you have to get 40 questions right in your objective type questions, then only you will qualify for the evaluation of their answers in the descriptive section. Are you getting what they are saying? That there are going to be 100 questions if in your MCQ type, right? In your objective part, you have to get minimum 40 questions right to qualify for you check your descriptive section, that is wherein you are going to write your 2 essays checked. A lot of people are going to be crossed out here itself. If you do not get 40 answers right, you are going to be crossed out here itself. Objective section. In this section of PG CLAT 2021, you will be provided extracts from primary legal materials such as important court decisions in various fields of law, statutes or regulations. Each passage will be followed by a series of questions that will require you to demonstrate the. Now please note, this is very important. This is important. Your court decisions, your passages are going to be from court decisions, statutes and or regulations, right? Very important. Please note down. Now one thing that you need to understand is that the format of CLAT LLM is passage. There is going to be a passage followed by 10 questions. Like if you analyze CLAT 2020, then most of the passages were followed by 10 questions. Right now, this is the format, but you need to have extra knowledge. It is not that, okay, fine, you just have to, go through the passages and then you have to analyze. Questions that were there in CLAT 2020 were testing your knowledge related to the court decisions. So yes, you have to learn some of the parts. I'm going to tell you what you really need to learn from these court decisions, statutes and regulations. But yeah, please note this. Going further, ability to read and comprehend the issues discussed in the passage as well as any arguments and viewpoints discussed or set out in the passage, awareness of the issues discussed in the passage as well as of legal issues and facts related to and arising out of the passage and the judgment or statute from which it is extracted. Right? Summarize the passage and ability to apply your knowledge of the field of law discussed in the passage. Right? Step 1, identifying important Supreme Court judgments and legal news. Now, I have written specifically to Supreme Court judgments because when we pick up 2020 question paper of CLAT, we'll see that the judgments, the passages that were there based on judgments were based on Supreme Court judgments. They were not based on High Court judgments, but still for safe side we are going to pick up very important High Court judgments, and also we are going to pick up international courts judgment if India is involved therein. Right, so we have 1 to 2 cases recently which the Permanent Court of Arbitration, the decision has been given by Permanent Court of Arbitration. Right, so we need to know the details of that judgment also. So yeah, so basically we have to identify the Supreme Court, the important judgments and the legal news. Right, now how to do that? How to identify? Read newspaper every day. Read newspaper every day and particularly read the decisions given by Supreme Court. Now, from where we'll get to know that which judgment is important, we are going to read the newspaper. It can be the Hindu or it can be the Indian Express. If in your area you do not get the hard copy of the newspaper, you can go for e-subscription. Online you can subscribe to any of these newspapers and you need to pick up the news. You need to read it. Okay, if unable to find, follow Giri's post on Instagram. If you think that you're not able to make out which is important, which is not, then you can follow us on Instagram. We're there by the name @IamLawGiri, wherein I'm posting every day. I give you the headlines and then you get to know, okay, this news is important, and then you can do the research. Now you know that this is the important judgment. Whatever information is given, just note in your notes. Right? Done with this? Number 1 is to identify judgments. Number 2 is to read the legal news, the important legal news. Now remember, when you read the judgments, you not only cover your objective part, you are also covering your subjective part because you're also getting material for your essays, right? Similarly, when you're covering your legal news, you're not only covering your objective part, you're also covering your subjective part. You also get the material that you can write, you can use that material in your essay as well. So whatever legal news is there, wherein sections have been talked about, articles have been talked about, Indian Constitution or procedure related to, governmental procedures have been talked about, those are important. You cannot miss out on them. It can be any amendment that has taken place in any law. It can be any new law which has come into being that you need to, check. There is any bill, there is any ordinance, you need to know about it. Law related editorials, very important. These are a blessing and they are very important, right? Why they are important? Now, for example, recently Maratha reservation case happened. Maratha reservation was declared unconstitutional by the Supreme Court of India. Now, after 4 to 5 days, even after 3 days, I think there was this big editorial wherein everything was discussed in detail. These people, the people who write down editorials, they conduct a deep research, right? So they are a blessing for us. I call them a blessing for us because we do not have to research and we get the information. We just have to read, cull out important points, note them in our notes, and we are good to go. Never miss out on any editorial that is related to law. For example, you'll find editorials related to patent issue. You will find editorials related to love jihad. You'll find editorials related to the recent Supreme Court judgments, right? So never miss such editorials because again, you'll get material for what? You might find an answer to your objective type question, or you might find material for your essay type of questions, right? Step 2 is going to be note down the Supreme Court judgments heading. So you are going to either, note it down in a register dedicated for CLAT. Now, guys, there is no book that I can say that, okay, fine, buy this XYZ book, read these topics and you are done. No, there is no book which is written for CLAT LLM. The book you are going to write and they are going to be your notes. Your notes are going to act as a book for you, right? So what you're going to do is from the newspaper, you're going to note down the important Supreme Court judgment heading, your legal news headings, right? You're going to note down the heading as well as some important points that you're able to find. You're also going to note down some important points. Now what you're going to do is your notes cannot be like, okay fine, I note down. They cannot be short notes like this, like, okay fine, today date is so and so, okay, this judgment came, this point in the newspaper, second point this. No, if you see in the newspaper that, okay, Maratha reservation judgment has come, for example, you write down Maratha reservation declared unconstitutional, and then you're going to leave 6 to 7 pages. You're going to leave 6 to 7 pages after this page and then note down the next news, right? What I mean to say is that you're going to conduct your own research. It is very important to conduct your own research, right? If you are not comfortable like this, what you can do is you can divide your register. You can divide your register wherein in the front you write down daily news, so that, okay fine, this is the news which is there, and then one by one you pick up and create detailed notes. I hope I am clear. If you think that I'm not clear, you are not able to understand what I'm trying to say, please tell me. I'll tell you in detail, right? So this is what you're going to do, because we have to create detailed notes related to these legal news and judgments, right? How to and what to research, you might ask. You might ask that how to and what to research. I'm going to tell you. Download the judgment. Now you need to download the original judgment from www.lawgiri.com. So what I have done is I've created this article for you. I've created this page for LLM people wherein I keep on adding the important judgments, and I also give you a free downloadable link from wherein you can download these judgments, right? The link of the article is going to be in the description box. Please bookmark the article because I keep on adding, right? Or I would tell you that this is important, please read about it. So that is going to be our point of contact, right? So download the original judgment. After downloading the the original judgment, what you have to do is name of the parties. Number one thing that you're going to notice the name of the parties. In your CLAT 2020, as many as 4 to 5 questions were just about the name of the parties of the important judgment. So you have to note down the name of the parties. Very important, very, very important, right? Next thing that you're going to do is, what is the judgment about? What is the judgment about? Now you're going to say this is very difficult to find out. No, what you're going to do is you're going to read a case analysis on by searching on Google, that analysis of so and so case. If you put this term on Google search, you'll get so many articles. Now I cannot give you a particular website because different judgments have been explained nicely on different websites, so there is no one website. So analysis of any case, for example Maratha reservation, read the analysis first, so you'll get a hint that, okay, this is what it is about, these were the issues, these were the things. Your thing doesn't end here. You have to skim through the judgment. What you have to do is skim through the original judgment. When you skim through the original judgment, mark in your laptop, in your phone, wherever you're reading the judgment, you have the provision of highlighting. Yes, it is there. Highlight. What you have to do is highlight. What you have to highlight? Highlight the important articles or sections that have been mentioned, right? You have to highlight the important articles and sections mentioned. Also, you have to highlight the important issues that were raised by the parties and what did the judges say about it. What was the decision? So you need to know about why, the reasons why the decision was given. For example, Maratha reservation was held unconstitutional. Number one, they said 50% se upar ja raha hai. The total reservation is going beyond 50,000, 50%, which it cannot go because of the Indrasani judgment, right? One reason is this. Second reason is they said that state do not have the powers after the 102nd amendment. That is controversial, right? So you need to know the reasons. So when you read the case analysis and when you skim through the judgment, you will find out that, okay, you are getting to know, Right now, whenever you come across any article or any section in the judgment, you have to read the bare provision. Higher chances are there that in the judgment itself, the bare provision is going to be there. Bare provision is the original provision, how it is in the law. Right, read the bare provision and you have to find out the essential ingredients. Now, in my videos wherein I talk about important weekly legal news and judgments, I try and help you with that. What I do is, for example, if I am picking up the definition of sedition, right, I'll tell you that, okay, fine, these are the essential ingredients that you have to do for sections that you come across in the judgment. So yeah, you're going to read the bare provision, right, and you're also going to note down the exceptions. Now, every section or most of the sections and articles are followed by certain exceptions. Provided करके करा होता है ना, provided so and so, or explanation 1 2 3, you are going to see. So your essential ingredients, you are going to create short notes, right? Do not note as it is. Do not note as it is. You have to create short notes. What you have to do is you have to create short notes, very short notes. Even I help you do that, you know, whenever I do my videos. The videos that I'm doing related to legal news and judgments are going to help all of you, like especially the LLM aspirants, because they are really going to help you out. The link is going to be in the description box. Do watch those videos, really helpful. So you're going to cull out the essential ingredients, the exceptions, and then not only the articles and sections need to be taken into consideration, you also have to take what the important judgments related to the sections or articles. We are also going to check out the important judgments related to the sections or articles, right? Then, and you're going to note them down in your notes. I know that you might be thinking that it is such a big task that you have to do, but as and when you start doing it, you will be able to do it. I can tell you from my experience, because I have been doing it and it is not that difficult. On day 1 you will find things very difficult, but on day 2, day 3, you will see that you are able to do things quickly, right? So that is the thing. Now you note it down in your notes. And next, judgments in the judgments. These are very important. If there is any judgment which has been mentioned in the judgment, you need to know that what it is about. What you need to do, that what it is about, right? What is the judgment about? You need to know about that. Chances are there that the important passages from the judgment are going to be mentioned, not passages, important paragraphs from the judgments are going to be mentioned in the main judgment itself. So you can read from there, or you can just conduct a very little research and, you know, find out that what the judgment is about, the judgment in the judgments, right? Next is, if there is any doctrine or concept explained or discussed in the judgment, that also you need to know about, right? So as many as, I think your around 20 to 30 questions were so there was a concept from jurisprudence. I think 2 concepts were relating to jurisprudence that were picked up from these recent judgments, and questions were put. So you need to understand those concepts, those theories very nicely if there is any which has been discussed. For example, when I was reading this personal guarantor to corporate debtor judgment that has come out recently, there also there was this one concept which was discussed in detail. So you need to know about, what you need to know, trace when the concept came, in which judgment or in which law it was for the first time that the concept came. Like for example, basic structure, we all know about it, but there are certain concepts that we have not even heard about. You will hear them, or you will, you know, when you focus on finding these concepts in the judgments, you will see that there are many, and you have to trace when the concept, in which judgment, the Supreme Court, or who, you know, who coined this phrase or this term. You need to know about this. You need to note down the judgment in which for the first time this phrase, this term or concept were used, or who is the author in general. Like, who is the author of this concept in general? You need to know about that. Any amendment that has been discussed. For example, again, I'm going to pick up the Maratha reservation judgment. 102nd amendment is discussed because of Maratha, reservation judgment. It is one of the most controversial amendments, right, with regard to interpretation of 102nd amendment. So you need to read the bare provision. Again, you have to note down, for example, 102nd amendment, it tells you that there are 2 sections. Okay, this says that this commission should be formed. Okay, then this should be done. So you need to note down in your own words, in short, you need to create short notes. Please do not note as it is. It is of no use. You need to make short notes. And if you do not know how to make short notes, you can watch my videos. I tend to create those in front of you, so you get an idea that how you have to create, right? Find the meaning of legal maxims used in the judgment. If there is any legal maxim which has been used in the judgment, you should know the meaning of that also. Though there was just one question that was there in CLAT 2020 wherein the meaning of legal maxim was asked. But yeah, you should know the meaning. Certain things to keep in mind. Certain things that you need to keep in mind. You need to create a map of judgments, chain or trace from the start till present. For example, recently the sedition law was in news because someone has filed a petition saying that sedition law should be declared as unconstitutional. Right now, since sedition law has been challenged, so it is in news, so we need to know about sedition law, that when was the first time that, which was the first judgment in which it was discussed in detail, then which were the recent judgments, everything. Not those famous popular judgments. You also need to know about those judgments. When you dive deep in, you'll get to know about those judgments, right? It is not CLAT LLB exam that you just know that important judgment relating to a concept. No, you need to dive a little bit in depth, and you need to create that, okay, it was in this judgment in this year that so and so judgment the concept of sedition was first there, then this, then this, then this. You need to create these mind maps, right, related to a concept, related to the article that is there in news, or that or related to which there is a judgment or which has been challenged, right? Skim through the judgment. You do not need to read the entire judgment. I know if you pick up even the Maratha judgment, it is of 400 to 500 pages, which is, I won't say that read the entire. You have to skim through it. Okay, there's an article, you research about it. Okay, fine, there's this. So there are two ways. Either you go through the judgment once, you skim through it, mark, highlight, and then in the next round you pick one by one, research about it and add to your notes. Either way, you have to do like that, right? Next is read case analysis on Google that I have talked about. You'll find so many case analysis, and the editorial are also going to help you about the issues and everything, right? Don't worry, you will find so many articles online that are going to make things easier for you. I'm telling you from experience. Let's check out some of the questions. Now, for example, the above passage has been taken from which of the following recent judgments relating to the questions of reservation and promotions for the disabled persons. Now, they have asked the name of the judgment. This was one of the famous judgments, Siddharaju versus State of Karnataka and others, right? Which of the following is true in context of the scheme provided under Article 16 of the Indian Constitution relating to reservation and promotion? Now, this talked about promotion, this judgment. Now, Article 16 is something, if you have read the bare provision, you not only have to read the bare provision, but also, plus, if you're not able to understand things, you should read about the article, about the section from some book or online, right? If it is a constitutional provision, you can go for Narendra Kumar, you can go for J.N. Pandey, you can go for M. Lakshmikant. Any book would do, right? And you can add to your notes the explanation so that you have a better understanding of that article, concept or section, right? Step 3, legal news research and notes. How to create that? Now, you need to know about subject falls under which list. Okay, in which list the subject falls. For example, I'm going to give you an example. There was a passage related to labor laws. There was a passage related to labor laws because in 2020, when the lockdown took place, there were so many ordinances related to labor laws. There was a big change related to labor law, right? So it was in news. Labor laws were in news. Now, what were the questions that were asked? That, okay, fine, tell, industrial disputes is applicable to which type of factory? What is retrenchment? What is layoff? Basics related to the laws were asked, right? Applicable to whom? The law, the amendment. Read important provisions of the act mentioned. Ye bhi, you can Google about it. What you can Google? Important provisions related to so and so act. You'll get so many articles. Note it down, right? Or if you have the Bare Act, open the Bare Act and go through it. Look, Bare Acts, you need to have some of the important Bare Acts, especially the Indian Constitution Bare Act you need to have. Now, this passage was in the exam. This was there in CLAT 2020 exam because labor laws were in news. We all know that labor laws were in news in 2020, in the beginning of 2020, April, May, when the lockdown took place in March, labor laws were in news, right? So let's check out the questions that were there from this passage so that you get an idea that how you have to prepare news when the news is related to a law, a new law that has come into being, or any law comes into discussion because of any XYZ reason. The government of Uttar Pradesh and many other state governments promulgated ordinance for temporary exemption from certain labor laws that would suspend the operation of all labor laws applicable to factories and manufacturing establishments in their respective state for a period of 3 years. With the exception of, this was so common, right? If you would have read the newspaper in those days, then you would know that this was one of the most discussed thing. There were so many editorials which were written related to labor laws, right? Now moving on next. Now this is a very easy question. On which of the following areas central government is exclusively competent to enact legislation, right? कौन से subject पे central government can make laws, state किस पे बना सकते हैं, right? Which of the following laws has been enacted to prevent exploitation of interstate migrant workers and to ensure fair and decent conditions of employment for them? Now again, newspaper में से you could have easily found the answer if you were reading newspapers in those days. Which of the following laws has been enacted? Okay, we have read this. The Employee State Insurance Act, ESI Act, which is again very important labor law, right, protects the interest of workers in contingencies such as, so yeah, you need to read the basics of the labor laws, the basic important acts like Industrial Disputes Act, ESI Act, right? As per the provisions contained in chapter 5B of Industrial Disputes Act, establishment employing so many persons or more are required to seek prior permission of appropriate government before effecting layoff, retrenchment and closure. You know, if you would have read the editorials in those days in 2020, you would have find all of these things. Okay, this act is important. Okay, let's Google about it and find out what are the important provisions related to it. If you have the Bare Act, you can go through the important provisions. First come last go, last come first go. Very important and very basic law related to labor laws. Which of the following is an illegal industrial action as per law? Choose the correct objective of Industrial Disputes Act 1947. So whichever act is there, you should check the objective, applicability, the basics. Okay, contract labor, again a very basic law, applies to every establishment contractor in which dash workmen are employed. Again, number of workers पे आ गया, applicability पे आ गया, right? So you need to research about it and create notes wherein you are able to cover these basic questions. Which year judgments or news needs to be covered? This is a very important question, right? Now, if we go through CLAT 2020 question paper, we'll get to know that, okay, Siddharaju versus State of Karnataka, one passage, that means 10 questions were 14 January 2020 ki judgment, 20th August 2020, 10th January 2020. Then again, labor laws were discussed in 2019 as well as 2020, more in 2020, I would say, right? Then August 2020 judgment. Then, so we can say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, around 50 questions, around 50 to 60 questions rather, out of 120. So now you have 100 questions. Now you have 100 questions that are there in the MCQ part or the objective part. But in 2020, there were 120 questions, right? Out of these 120 questions, 50 to 60 questions were asked from judgments or the news that was from 2020. So it means this year our 2021 is important. If we have to cross that 40 marks wala thing, that if we are able to answer 40 questions correctly, then only our descriptive part or the essay part is going to get checked. So we should focus on 2021 first. That doesn't mean that we need to leave our 2020. That doesn't mean that we have to leave our 2020. We have to cover our 2020 part as well. But number one priority should be 2021, and also the news that is right now, as we are talking, right, in May, we are talking May, June, till the time the exam doesn't take place. That news is very important as well, because August, the exam took place in September, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, it took place in September, right? So the August news is there, so you cannot stop reading the newspaper. If you're watching this video today, start reading the newspaper from today itself. You should day by day, whichever judgments are coming, keep on covering them. Even the legal news, keep on covering that, but little by little also cover the previous months and then the previous year, right? For your help, again, I'm telling you that I have created an article wherein I have discussed the important judgments related to 2021 news. I'm going to also write an article where I'm going to discuss the important legal news of 2021. Then I'm going to move to the 2020 judgments and also the 2020 news, right? Also, I want to tell you one more thing, that your Indian constitution, judgments related to Indian constitution are very, very important. Your jurisprudence related judgments, wherever there is a concept, wherever there is a theory or a concept related to jurisprudence has been discussed, you need to study that theory or concept from your book of jurisprudence. You can use Tripathi's book if you have Tripathi, or you can go for N.V. Pranjape, right? Any book you can study the concept of jurisprudence that is discussed in any judgment, in any Supreme Court judgment, wherever a concept or theory related to jurisprudence has been discussed. You need to read, you need to get into the details of that theory or concept. Right? International law, there are two major judgments that have been given by your Permanent Court of Arbitration. Right? One is the Vodafone judgment and the other is the Karn Energy one, which has come out recently and that has been challenged. You need to know about that also. Right? So yeah, your Indian constitution is most important. Then you have your jurisprudence and then you have your international law. Right? Let's talk about the subjective part. Topics related to the issues discussed in the landmark recent judgments and the issues that have been in news. For example, the health, what is going on in the health sector, why India was not able to handle second wave of COVID, what were the laws, what were the judgments. Supreme Court came out with so many decisions and ultimately created the National Task Force. So if you're reading the judgments and if you're well versed with the legal news that is going on even in 2021, I think you will be in a good position to write a really good essay. But you need to read the newspaper every day and you need to keep on noting down things from the newspaper and create your own notes. Right? What we are studying for objective type covers your essay writing too. Right? So yeah, so your material, you have your material to write down. Now what we have to learn is, if we have to write a good essay, we need some material, we need some good material, that is the judgment, what was in the if there is a new law or there is any amendment made with regard to that, what did the Supreme Court say, or there was any judgment or anything. We need to know about that. So we need to have the material to write, and we also need to know how to write. So material we are going to cover from the newspaper as well as from the judgment that we are going to read and the research that we are going to conduct at this section, this article. Right? Whenever come across any article, section, concept, try to understand in such a manner that you can write about it. Use textbooks for this purpose. Whenever you come across a section, that what I was telling you, to understand that you can use a textbook also, right? So that you can write about that. And you need to have your own opinion also with regard to the issues that are going on. For example, recently overcrowding of jails, right, has been in news a lot because of COVID. Decongestion took place of jails, so they had to come up with certain rules, orders that why the overcrowding has taken place. You need to know about it and the sections that have been discussed. Right? For example, there was a judgment related to house arrest, because it is being considered that house arrest should be considered as detention. One of the reasons being that Indian jails are overcrowded and it is also expensive to maintain jails, right? So it is burden of monetary burden on the state. So these type of concepts or the judgments you are reading, and then you also need to read the section, and then you need to have your own opinion. It is very important that you have your own opinion when it comes to laws and the issues, right? You have your own opinion and you are able to create a connection between the laws and the issues that are going on. How to write? You need to start with the introduction, what is the topic and everything. Headings, you need to mention headings, you need to underline, you need to use black and blue pen so that you are able to distinguish that, okay, fine, this is what I have covered, this article I have talked about, this judgment I have mentioned, right? So analysis of the sections or bare provision matters. Conclusion, your opinion matters. Any solution that you want to give, any recommendation that you have, this part is really important. This is also important, analysis and analytical ability, but what is most important is your opinion, what do you think about it, right? You may ask from where to practice. Now the best way to practice is that you can buy any judiciary essay book or UPSC law book, right, for essays. You can buy the book, pick up the topics that have been given in this book. Like in the beginning, so write down essays, that the essay which has been, the topic has been given in the book, write it down, right? Number one, what you have to do is buy a book relating to essays for judiciary or for UPSC law optional subject. Buy the book, the topics that have been given in the book, write essay on these topics, right? And then go back to the book, go back to the book and check that, compare your essay and the essay written in the book, and then you will be able to see, okay, fine, I can write like this, like this. If you, practice good 30 to 50 essays from these books, and then you start writing essays related to your, the current issues, you'll be able to see that you improve a lot. And also on all these UPSC websites, you'll find so many essays written by students who are preparing for UPSC or who have cleared UPSC, so you can also take help from there. On my website itself, you'll find a lot of links. But yeah, do buy a book also, because that is going to be comprehensive and that is going to help you, and you won't have to, look for essays here and there. At one place itself, you'll be able to find your essays, since you are not having that much of time, right? The important topics can be your overcrowding of jails, love jihad, Section 92 compulsory licensing, Patents Act has been in news a lot because of the COVID-19 vaccine and the medicines, farmers bills, your labor laws, sedition, constitutional, unconstitutional, disaster management act has been in news a lot. So you need to know about these issues. Let's talk about some bonus tips. Analyze previous year question papers to understand type of questions. Now, obviously, I'm going to tell you to analyze 2020 previous year question paper. You'll find the question paper for free on www.loggery.com. The link is going to be in the description box below. So please check out that paper. Do not worry. You can crack this exam really if you go by the way I'm telling you. Yeah, because you have to go through the judgments, and on day one you'll feel what is it, it is very confusing. By day 4 or 5 you'll be like, okay, fine, I can do it, it can be done. Create your own notes, keep on revising, right, so that you remember things. Remember the number, the article number, the sections, right? Yeah, go through CLAT 2020 paper again and again. Cover the present judgments and news first, then cover the previous months or years judgment. Even the landmark judgments that come in news, you need to cover them. But yeah, your recent judgments, you need to, like, the May judgment as of today needs to be covered first, and then you move backward, right? So guys, if you're planning to give CLAT LLM and you think that no, you cannot prepare right now because you need more months, I think this is the best time to start your preparation, because a little bit of burden and I have given you the strategy that how you need to prepare. Both are going to help you out. So yeah, this is the exam that can be prepared for quickly if you go by the way that I am telling you. Yes, you need to put in good number of hours every day, like put in like good 5 to 6 hours a day with reading judgments and the news and everything. I'm going to help you in every way that I can. You'll find the resources on my website, that is www.loggery.com. And also guys, if you have friends who are preparing for LLM, you can also take help from them by asking that, okay, fine, you read this judgment and call out the things for me and I'll read this one. That would also help you out a lot. So to find such friends, you can join our forums, wherein I'll leave the link of the forum in the description box. Do comment your queries. That way you'll be able to find people who are preparing for LLM. And if you are a person who is is an advocate or is preparing for judiciary and is confused that should they give this exam or not, because CLAT is known for being difficult, and everything else, please do give the exam. I'm telling you, this strategy is going to work and it is going to help you. So yeah, that's it for today's video. I'll see you super soon. I hope this video is helpful. If you found this video helpful, then don't forget to like this video, share this video, and do subscribe to the channel. Giri signing off. Take care. Bye.